Today we're going to be talking about some of the most inexpensive magnifiers on the market, the Orbit Magna Magnifiers. There's a 3-inch, a 4-inch, and a 5-inch, and this is from Orbit Research. It might be inexpensive, but is it worth your money? And are they even any good? Let's talk about it. Hi everyone, this is Carrie on Accessibility, where we talk about accessibility and technology. Digital magnifiers, or what some people call CCTV, that's what I grew up knowing it as, are super expensive. The desktop versions can be $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and the handheld ones are usually $500 and up. The Orbit Magna 3, which is the 3-inch model, cost $149 US. The 4-inch Orbit Magna 4 cost $199, and the biggest one, which is the Orbit Magna 5 at 5 inches, is $249. That might still sound expensive, and honestly, it kind of is, but one of the most popular magnifiers from Freedom Scientific, the Ruby HD magnifier, costs $710. $150 to $250 doesn't sound so expensive compared to that. Today we're going to unbox and try out all 3 Orbit Magna magnifiers and see if they're any good, or I don't know, maybe you're just better off using a magnifier app. As a disclaimer, Orbit Research is not sponsoring this video, and they also didn't send me these magnifiers. I had to pay out of pocket for these. So without further ado, let's switch the camera over and take a look at these magnifiers. Alright, so here is the box, and I have my pink box cutter with me today. And I'm gonna open this up. There's some bubble wrap, which I will not pop. Alright, so we have 1, 2, and 3 different magnifiers. It looks like they don't come in a box, but they are bubble wrapped. And we'll start with this one. Let's see what's inside. So it looks like it has a carrying case. There is an instruction manual, a cable here. This looks like it is a, oh wow, it's a mini USB and a USB-A adapter. I believe this is some kind of video adapter, and it has a yellow end and it's round. The carrying case is this little bag, and it is soft and felt. I meant velvety. There's a lanyard in here, and there's another bag. And this has the magnifier, and this is a cleaning cloth. It's yellow, by the way. This is the 5-inch, I believe. So let's unpackage the rest of them, and we'll take a look. So I'll put that one to the side. And now this one feels a lot smaller. It's also wrapped in bubble wrap. It also comes with the video cable, the mini USB to USB-A, a carrying case, some instructions, a lanyard. The cleaning cloth is pink this time, which is definitely the best color. This must be the smallest one. It's the 3-inch Orbit Magna 3. This is pretty small. We'll put that one to the side, and let's look at this last one. Again, it was wrapped in bubble wrap. There's instructions. This is the USB cable. It's the same one, mini USB to USB-A, and video cable right here. It has the same carrying bag. It has a lanyard. This one has a light green cleaning cloth. I know some of you will be happy about that. This looks like it is the 4-inch model, and this is the only one that is black. Orbit Magna 5, Orbit Magna 4, and Orbit Magna 3 right here. Let's go ahead and start with the smallest one, the Orbit Magna 3, and just explore it. This one looks pretty small. This doesn't have a handle, but it looks like you can grip it on the right side. And then there are 3 orange buttons on the front. There's a button at the top and a button at the bottom. Oh, the button at the top turns it on. There was something on the screen, but I did not see what it says. So let's look for some instructions and see what it looks like. Here's some of the instructions that came with it. What I discovered is it does actually have a little stand at the bottom, and I can pull that up. There we go. And it also has LED lights at the bottom. I'll turn it off, or I'll point it to the camera. Hopefully that's okay. I'm gonna place it on the instructions, and let's see how quickly it turns on. I'm gonna press it. And there we go. Now it's on. I can move around, and we can see that it zooms in. Now if I press that top button, it will zoom in, zoom in, zoom in some more, and then one more zoom, and it zooms out. That middle button changes the color contrast. And then the bottom button, it takes a freeze frame. At the top here, so there's the on button at the left, and then there is a take picture button at the top right where you would hold the device. At the bottom edge here, we have a mini USB port for charging. There's a button here. When I press it, it says no card, so I'm guessing that maybe is to look at the different photos that you've taken. There is a micro SD card slot, and there is a TV out port all the way to the right. One thing I noticed is this focus is set right here with the stand, and if I pull it away from the instructions, it gets very blurry very quickly. And that's pretty much it for this one. Let's look at the next one. I'll turn that off, and it turns off pretty quickly. So this is the Magna 4. It's a 4-inch model, and this one is black, and it has an orange button at the top, a middle blue button, and at the bottom there's an orange button. And the buttons are on the top face on the right. And at the top edge, we have a USB. This is the charging port, and then we have the TV out. Then there's the micro SD card slot and the power button, which is red. At the bottom edge, we have two buttons here. One, I'm assuming it has a play button, so that will probably show us all the pictures that we've taken. And there is a blue button to the right of the bottom edge, and this is the take picture button. This seems to have like its own built-in stand, and it also has a handle. And this handle, we can pull it out from the back. And I will say this handle seems really flimsy. It's very thin plastic, and there's a hole here in the middle, and the hole in the middle of the handle is for when it is folded. That is where the LED lights will shine through to the paper.
It's also like a little window for the camera to look through.
So I'm not so sure about this handle. It doesn't feel very strong, and like the device feels a bit heavy for it. But I guess this is a very cheap magnifier, and they have to cut corners somewhere. So I'm gonna turn it on, and we'll try it with the handle folded. All right, so here's the same instructions that I was looking at with the 3-inch model, and let's try to press the button. I'll press the top orange button. Oh my goodness, that is really loud. Okay, so this looks like the top button is for zoom. The middle button,
I'm going to do my best to lower the volume of these beeps.
Changes color.
These beeps were really loud. Also, there were a lot of different color contrast modes.
That bottom button takes a freeze frame, and then you can keep it on the screen. And then you press that bottom button again, and it will unfreeze. The bottom button again, this is to take a picture, but there's no card, so it'll say no card. That beep is extremely loud, and I cannot figure out how to turn it off. That was a bit unexpected, and yeah, that's just too loud. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off now. I will say this one turns on relatively quickly. It doesn't take a whole long time to turn on and off. All right, let's go to the next one. This one is the Orbit Magna 5. This one has a white body this time. It looks very, very similar to the Magna 4, except it has a bigger screen. On the front face, on the right, there's 3 buttons. On this one, the top is blue, the middle is orange, and the bottom is blue. And then at the top edge, we have a USB port right here, the mini USB for charging, and then we have a TV out, a micro SD card slot, and then the power button. At the bottom edge, we have the button for, I'm guessing this is for gallery, and this is to take a picture. The gallery button is blue, and then the take picture is red, as well as the power button is also red. This also has LEDs at the bottom. It has the built-in stand. So let's go ahead and turn this one on. All right, and there it is. It's ready to go. And you could read that. I'm hoping this doesn't have a beep, but we'll try it. I'm gonna press that top button. Oh, it does have the beep. And so the top button is for zoom. The middle button is for contrast colors, and the bottom is for freeze frame. All the controls seem very similar to the Magna 4. We'll try the handle. Okay, it's the same thing. It's a black handle and the rest of it is white, so that's interesting. This is the same kind of handle. It seems pretty flimsy, and this device seems a little heavier than the other one, so I'm not very fond of this handle either. It still has that hole in the middle of the handle where the LED can come through. Alright, I have the 4-inch and the 5-inch here. Just like the 3-inch, as soon as you start pulling it away from the paper, it's just very blurry. The focus is fixed, so the only place where it's really clear is when the device is right on top of the paper. I have a school reader here for my son's homeschool, and we'll just open to a random page and try each magnifier out to see what it's like with color. This one is the smallest one, and we'll look at the picture here. Alright, now let's go ahead and try the next one. Again, I really have to put it right on the paper for it to be in focus. And we can look at these pictures here. And this one is the 5-inch. We can also look at it here. For context, I think it would be helpful. I have a Eschenbach Smart Lux Digital here, and so this is what it looks like for that. This is also a 5-inch, and this one also has a stand. We can look at that. We'll see what the smallest zoom level is. Okay, so this is the smallest zoom level. I can also just pull it away a little bit, not too far, and it still is pretty clear. But again, like the other magnifiers, if I pull it away, it will be very blurry. This one here is my phone. It is the S22 Ultra, and I am using weZoom right now. This can go far from the material, and then I can zoom in. Very much so. There we go. I can see the B-U-T, the song, and I can read that very easily. I can also change color contrast. Right now I only have white and black because that's the only one that I really use, and you can change that in the settings. This is by far the best magnifier app on Android, and if you use a magnifier, I definitely recommend it. You can also turn on the flash or turn it off, and it has different controls for brightness and exposure, and you can reset it. It also has advanced touch gestures like a 2-finger tap can change the contrast. You can do a 3-finger tap to freeze frame, and you don't have to use these. You can use the controls on the side here. Of course, this is a touch interface, and because this is smartphone based, the quality will just really depend on your phone. Let's look at the picture here. We can move it around. There you go, and we can zoom into the picture. We just have to focus on the screen and it can focus for us, or we can have autofocus on, and there we go.
So there you have it. Those are the 3 Orbit Magna magnifiers. Do these magnifiers work? Yes, they do as magnifiers, I guess. Are they functional? Not really for me. I did not really enjoy the experience very much. That beep really got to me, but it wasn't just that. One of the biggest issues for me was the screen quality. It's just not what I'm used to. I'm used to OLED screens. I'm used to IPS LCD screens, and these screens are just really washed out. They don't have a lot of contrast. After recording and looking at the footage, the quality of the image through the camera doesn't look too bad, honestly, but when you're actually looking at the screen and trying to read stuff, it's so different. It really is very washed out. The blacks are very gray. It's just not a great screen. And it just didn't work for me. The other biggest issue that I have is the fixed focus. You really have to keep that magnifier on that paper at the right distance, and I just don't use magnifiers like that. I just don't like having to basically scrape the bottom of the magnifier across the page. It's not really comfortable. It's not smooth. It feels like you're dragging something and it catches, and I really don't like it. I would really recommend just an app on a smartphone. Most people already have a smartphone, and most smartphones are going to have a better screen, probably a better camera. If you're using iOS, you can use the iOS built-in magnifier. You can use weZoom on Android. It's free for everybody. But if you're really looking for a separate device, I really think it would be worth it to look for a good quality, or at least a better quality magnifier that will give you enough contrast, give you a decent screen, and just be a little bit more forgiving when it comes to focus. Another big issue I had is you have to, again, have that magnifier close to that page, but sometimes some pages have larger text. The least amount of zoom that these magnifiers can do is still really significant. And when you're trying to read children's books, and when you're trying to read headings on anything, it's nearly impossible to fit the text onto the screen because it zooms just way too much, and there's really no way to control that. These magnifiers still do work as magnifiers, and maybe you're not as picky as I am with screens and the other issues that I mentioned, and you know, maybe you still want to get it, and as a backup, it's still nice to have like physical buttons instead of having to try to navigate to an app if you don't have a specific shortcut or something. It might still be helpful, but honestly, for me, it did not work, and I've already sent these back. That's it for now. What do you think about Orbit carrying these types of magnifiers? They're known best for their Orbit Writer and Orbit Reader, which are braille displays, and they ventured out into the magnifier market, which I'm not so sure about. If you like this type of video for assistive technology, let me know down in the comments. And if you want to support me and what I do here, go check out the YouTube membership or Patreon. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up below. And thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video.